Welcome back. This is lecture 26 of shares and debentures in CAAP, and this is for CMA Intermediate June 2022 attempt. ठीक है, ये lecture 26 है shares and debentures का. आज हम करेंगे issue and redemption of preference shares. थोड़ा सा starting में हमने किया था पहले. We had done little bit of it, right? But I'll start from the beginning. First thing is articles must authorize. For all major things, remember, articles must authorize. Okay, be it bonus shares, okay, be it buyback, be it issue and redemption of preference shares, articles must authorize. Okay, the terms of issue generally stipulate the time of redemption. यानी जब आप प्रेफरेंस शेयर इश्यू करते हो, रिडेम्पशन का भी टाइम इश्यू के साथ ही बता दिया जाता है. इट इज देयर along with the your offer of issue which you get now. Along with that, you come to know the time of redemption also, and whether at par or premium. Okay, so everything is there itself. Now, irredeemable preference shares means which cannot be redeemed. That is called irredeemable. So it will naturally get redeemed only when company is wound up. Once the company is wound up, at that point of time, anyway everything gets redeemed, right? Even equity gets redeemed. So irredeemable means it will not get redeemed during the lifetime of the company. Okay, so first thing now is we'll just see the conditions of issue and redemption. So now currently irredeemable preference shares cannot be issued. Okay, you can only issue redeemable preference shares redeemable up to 20 years. Okay, beyond 20 years redemption is not allowed now. Okay, after commencement of your Companies Act 2013. ठीक है, 2013 एक्ट के आने के बाद अभी प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स ज्यादा आपको 20 साल के अंदर रिडीम करना होता है. ओके, एंड इसमें एक एक्सेप्शन है. यू कैन इशू exceeding 20 years, redemption exceeding 20 years for infrastructure projects. ठीक है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं उसके लिए यू कैन रिडीम अप टू 30 years. ओके, अब रिडेम्पशन के और कंडीशंस. रिडेम्पशन शुड बी आउट ऑफ प्रॉफिट्स. या प्रॉफिट्स बोल रहे हैं तो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट रेवेन्यू प्रॉफिट्स. ठीक है, प्रॉफिट्स अदरवाइज अवेलेबल फॉर डिविडेंड. ओके, वो ये प्रॉफिट्स का मतलब है, either out of profits or proceeds of fresh issue. ठीक है, made for redemption. ठीक है, ये कर सकते हैं. And second thing, it should be fully paid. We know in all these things, like somewhere there is a connection between bonus shares, buyback of shares, and redemption of preference shares. Okay, so we just did buyback of shares. So in buyback of shares, what we are doing is we are giving money and taking back the shares. Here also we are doing the same thing. Only difference is here the contract of redemption is written when it was issued, and in buyback it is being done sometime in between. Okay, otherwise from an accounting point of view, the entries of redemption will be very similar to your buyback because the same thing is being done, right? In buyback also you are taking back the shares, giving money. Here also you are doing the same thing. आप यही कर रहे हो. इफेक्टिवली जो बायबैक में हम करते हैं ट्रांजैक्शन वही हो रहा है, बस अलग अलग टाइम पे हो रहा है, इतनी बात है. ठीक है, ये रिडेम्पशन होगा, ये इश्यू के वक्त ही फिक्स हो जाता है, लेकिन बायबैक होगा कि नहीं इसकी भी गारंटी नहीं है. ठीक है, और जब होगा तब फिक्स होता है. ओके, सो रिडेम्पशन should be out of the profits, that is revenue profits or proceeds of fresh issue. Shares must be fully paid, otherwise they cannot be redeemed. If redeemed out of profits, the first point है, if redeemed out of profits, you have to transfer nominal amount to CRR account. ठीक है, तो जैसे आप बायबैक से आप बहुत सिमिलैरिटीज इसमें आप देख सकते हैं, right? So it will be little quicker after you have done buyback. Okay, there is now one thing is after this, so quickly just repeat this point till where we have done. Okay, so we are doing issue and redemption of preference shares. Okay, So debentures will do later. So right now, this topic now we are doing is preference shares. Okay, so the debentures will be after this. So after preference shares is over, we will be doing underwriting of shares. Okay, so after underwriting, we will do debentures. Okay, underwriting because it comes as a part of shares only. The topic is included along with shares, right? But in our study material, it is like after this you have debentures, and at the end you have underwriting. Okay, so whichever is the order. So chalo, now for here we are focusing more on redemption than issue, right? So issue is like issue of preference shares also very similar to the issue of your normal equity shares. Okay, we are talking about redemption here. So articles must authorized. Okay, and terms state the time of redemption and whether redemption is at par or premium. Now remember, this premium is a loss to the company because they are paying extra money to the shareholders. So this premium is not profit. Okay, तो ये प्रीमियम जो है लॉस होता है कंपनी के लिए. इररिडीमेबल प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स जो है अभी आप इश्यू नहीं कर सकते हैं. यू कैन इश्यू शेयर्स रिडीमेबल अप टू 20 years. फॉर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनीज you can issue redeemable preference shares up to 30 years. Okay, these are the things we saw. And then
Sir, infrastructure companies means like any example?
जो बिल्डिंग जो कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम करते हैं, जो से रोड कंस्ट्रक्शन और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लाइंस लेइंग, इस तरह से they are called as infrastructure companies. So basically these companies, because of the nature of their work, they are long-term companies. So once they have taken capital, okay, to build an infrastructure project, it will take years together. If say they are building a highway, it will take years together. इसलिए उनको capital redemption भी थोड़ा extension दिया गया. They have got extension for redemption also. Okay, because the nature of their work is.
30 years.
Yes, Madhu.
Yeah, it's 20 or 30 years, sir, for infrastructure.
It is 20 years. I don't know. Infrastructure is 30 years. Normal preference shares is 20 years. Infrastructure is 30 years. Okay. Now, again, after that, we had just seen is redemption out of profits. You can do out of profits. Here it is revenue profits. Okay. We're talking about revenue profits, not capital profits or proceeds of fresh issue of shares. Okay, shares must be fully paid, and if you're redeeming out of profits, nominal amount should be transferred to capital redemption reserve account, similar to buyback. And then the next point is premium on redemption. So we had two things, right? One, you are redeeming the face value part, or if you are giving any premium, which I said is the loss. So from where will you get the premium? That we are talking about. Okay, so premium on redemption, there are two things here. Okay, so normally you can, because premium is a capital loss, correct? So it should be first provided out of security premium account. First preference, second preference will be profits, revenue profits. Okay, security premium or revenue profits. This will be the normal trend. This is what will follow in problems also. Okay. So, and for these, there are two conditions actually. One is section 133 does not apply. 133, this section is for accounting standards of companies at 2013. Okay, accounting standards. So if it does not apply, or preference shares are issued before commencement of the act. Before 2013, preference shares were issued and they are being redeemed now. Okay, so in these two cases specifically, you can redeem out of, you can provide for premium, okay, not redemption, the premium part of redemption out of securities premium and balance out of profits. Okay, but if section 133 applies, then you cannot use security premium account. Just remember this part. If say in your question, if they write that section 133 applies, the only, so what they are trying to tell you is, for premium on redemption, don't use security premium account. That's what they're trying to tell you if they give this sentence. Okay, just remember this. But as I said, normally speaking, no, we are only following this method as of now. Okay. Right. So then, now sometimes it is possible that when redemption time comes, company doesn't have the money to redeem it. Okay. So if it doesn't have money to redeem it, after redemption is due, they are called as unredeemed preference shares. Okay, what they have to do is take consent of 75% in value of such preference shares. Okay, just take 75% in value of your preference shares. Okay, if they say okay, number one. Number two, tribunal has given you the approval. Okay, if these two things have happened, okay, that is 75% preference shares have consented and tribunal has approved, then what you can do, because you don't have money, so what you will do for the preference shares which you couldn't redeem, you can cancel it, issue further redeemable preference shares of equal amount and give a further period as agreed with them. Okay, so if they have agreed, like, okay, they are ready to give you 2 years more. Okay, so then you will issue new preference shares for that particular date. Okay, and any dividend also, if you have not been able to pay, that will also be added to this preference shares amount. Okay, including dividend thereon. So if you do this, if you have followed this procedure, then the original preference shares that will be deemed to have been redeemed as per the rules. Okay, so you will not have any penalties or anything in this case. What I told you now is, if company is not able to redeem preference shares, so let me just put some figures to it, then it will be like better. Okay, so let us say company had to redeem 1 lakh. Okay, it had to redeem capital of 1 lakh and 5,000 was dividend. Okay, 1 lakh and this was dividend. It did not have money. So what it did, it went to the preference shares. It got approval from 3/4, that is 75% of preference shares, and from the tribunal. So what it has done is, now for 1,05,000, okay, for 1,05,000, it has issued now new debentures. Sorry, new redeemable preference shares. Redeemable preference shares. It has issued. Okay, and this one now, old one, 1 lakh, this will be deemed to be redeemed. Okay, as per the rules. So if whatever penalties will apply for you not redeeming in time, that will now not apply. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे हमने ये देखे, ये थर्ड पॉइंट में कि जो अनरिडीम्ड प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स किसको बोलते हैं, कि जब कंपनी के पास पैसा नहीं रहता है, रिडेम्पशन का वक्त आ गया और पैसा नहीं है, ये 1 लाख मान लीजिए आपका रिडीमेबल प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स हैं और 5,000 उनका डिविडेंड है. ओके, 5,000 इज अनपेड डिविडेंड. तो कंपनी शेयर होल्डर्स से बात करती है और 75% शेयर होल्डर्स और ट्रिब्यूनल का अप्रूवल अगर ले लेती है, तो ये टोटल अमाउंट जो है आपका 1,05,000, इसके न्यू डिवेंचर्स, न्यू रिडीमेबल प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स इश्यू कर सकती है. ओके, और ऐसा अगर करेंगे तो ओल्ड प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स है, इट विल बी डीम्ड टू बी रिडीम्ड, लॉफुली रिडीम हुआ ऐसा माना जाएगा. ठीक है, और इसमें एक पॉइंट और एक दिया है एक्स्ट्रा आपके लिए. ठीक है, और अगर इसमें से हम बोल रहे हैं 3/4 का कंसेंट लेगी, राइट, तो जिसने कंसेंट नहीं दिया, उसके लिए कंपनी को कैसे वैसे बंदोबस्त करके उनके पैसे वापस करने पड़ेंगे. If people have not consented, for them company will have to redeem it. Okay, so this is one point. So then capital redemption reserve account may be applied for issue of fully paid bonus shares. This we know when we did bonus shares also, right? You remember we used to debit what? All capital reserves in cash, whatever is in cash, securities premium, and also the CRR account we used to debit. Okay, so we know already that CRR account is used for issue of bonus shares. Okay, so now next point is specifically for infrastructure projects, which we have already talked about. ठीक है, in infrastructure projects में exceeding 20 years चलता है, but maximum will be 30 years. Till 30 years we have to redeem. अब क्या कर सकते हैं आप कि from 20 years हो गया, 21st year onwards for the next 10 years, in 21 to 30 years से every year 10% you will have to redeem. 10%. Okay, from 21 to 30 years. Okay, that you will have to redeem subject to the option of preference shareholders. If they say no, we are fine, you can redeem it. We don't want money every year like that. Just give it to us after the 30th year. If they say that, that is okay. Otherwise, the rule is that if you are issuing shares, redeemable preference shares up to 30 years in infrastructure companies, and 21st year onwards, redemption process should start. 10% you have to start redeeming. Okay. So now we'll do one illustration on this. Okay. Okay, this furnishes to you the balance sheet. Date is 31st March 2015. Equity shares of 10 each, 400 lakhs. This is rupees in lakhs. Okay, rupees in lakhs. So then these are redeemable preference shares of 100 each, 200 lakhs. Now these are our reserves and surplus. They've got capital reserve, share premium, okay, and revenue reserves. Okay, these three kind of reserves they have given, and then it is kind of a statement of your asset side where they said asset side is fixed asset less depreciation, that is fixed assets is 560, current assets less current liabilities, it's basically 540 minus 200, which is 340 actually. So 340 minus 560. So these two can be put in inner column also. Okay, these two. So we can just say like this. Okay, let me just put this here. And this will become how much? 340. Okay, it's like this basically. Okay, so this is the problem now. So now, okay, let's see. So in redemption problems, normally you will not have anything to do with the asset side. Okay, mostly you will only deal with the liability side. Now the company redeemed preference shares on 1st April 2015 at a premium of 10%. So let us first see how much it is. So 200 is your redeemable preference shares, right? Capital part is 200. 10%, how much? It will be 20. So in all, we have to pay back actually 220 lakhs. Okay, this much we know now. And so I'll just show you the entries first. Okay. See here now in redemption entries, what is done is just think of your buyback entries. It is actually the same like that, just the name changes. Okay. So first thing is your share capital and whatever premium you have to pay to them, transfer it to redeemable preference shareholders account. Okay. And then finally, what you will do is when you pay entry 5, if you see, redeemable preference shareholders will be debited to bank. Okay. So 1 and 5 are over. 5 I'll show you. See, this is debited to bank. Okay. So first one is due entry. Okay. So basically, this is your due entry and this is your payment entry. Okay. So this is the main entry of redemption. Redemption. Okay, so and now here your premium is a loss. Okay, so this premium you will have to charge to your security premium or revenue reserves, right? So unless you are said that section 133 is being followed, if they tell you specifically, only then you will not use security premium. If they are not saying anything, then you have to consider that 133 is not being followed or the shares were issued before 2013. Okay, so now redeemable preference shares, as you know, it's long-term capital, like 20 years, 30 years kind of capital. So there would be many shares which are issued before 2013 as well, right? Which would be ongoing, isn't it? ठीक है, तो आप ये प्रीमियम को क्या करेंगे, आपको सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम और प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को डेबिट करेंगे इन द सेम ऑर्डर. ओके, फर्स्ट टेक सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम और फिर प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट टू प्रीमियम ऑन रिडेम्पशन. ठीक है, तो प्रीमियम ऑन रिडेम्पशन इज नाउ टेकन केयर ऑफ. ठीक है, ये 3 एंट्री हो गए. Now, this second entry is totally unrelated to all other entries. This is just creating liquidity. Say all my assets are, I have invested things everywhere. This investment, that investment. Okay. Now I need money for investment. I don't have cash. I'll have to sell off some investment to get the cash. Okay. It is the same side balance sheet transaction. That is, your in asset side, you will have a short-term investment. You will sell it, it will get converted to cash. That's all. So it is not affecting the redemption process as a whole. You're just liquidating an investment. Okay. So this part technically is not an entry of redemption as such. You're just liquidating your investment. Okay. So जहां भी आप ये करते हो, जैसे you are said that company, because normally redemption is you're redeeming a big amount, isn't it? If you are redeeming a big amount, okay, then what happens is you will not have that much of cash with you, right? At one point of time. So you will have to sell some investments and all, and then you have to get money. So this is a normal thing to do. इसमें क्या होगा, बैंक डेबिट होगा, पैसा आ रहा है, बैंक will be debited to investment account. There's a more than a good chance that you will have either a profit or a loss when you sell something, isn't it? So basically, if it is a profit, you will credit it. If it is a loss, you will debit P&L with that. ठीक है, तो ये देख एक नॉर्मल एंट्री, एज आई सेड, दिस इज, ये आपके प्रॉब्लम में रह भी सकता है, नहीं भी रह सकता. If they have cash balance, then they don't need to do this. ठीक है, तो चलिए इसके बाद क्या है आपका. अच्छा, अगर फ्रेश इश्यू करते हैं, ठीक है, हमने ये बोले थे आप कैसे रिडीम कर सकते हैं, आउट जो कैपिटल पार्ट है उसको कैसे रिडीम कर सकते हैं. हाउ कैन यू रिडीम इट? आइदर use your revenue profits or fresh issue, correct? So if you go for fresh issue, this is as per the board of directors. Okay, they can decide what to do based on the company's financial position. Fresh issue करते हैं तो आप बैंक डेबिटेड टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल, और अगर प्रीमियम में जा रहा है तो टू सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम. बेटर वे टू डू इट इज, आप इसको ऐसा कर सकते हैं, शेयर जब पूरा अमाउंट एक ही इंस्टॉलमेंट में आ जाता है, देन यू से share application and allotment account debited. Okay, share application and allotment account debited to share capital to securities premium. ठीक है, उसके बाद में then you can do bank entry. जब आपको मिलता है then you will just do bank account debited to share application and allotment account. This is how you can split this into 2 entries. Okay, which is the better
Sir,
way.
Sir, this fresh issue is relating to the same entry that when we are unable to pay at the time of redemption, we do the fresh.
No. This is not that. But okay, so that one will come at the end. So this is no, because in that one it cannot be that one. Why? Can you tell me one reason why this entry cannot be that one, that end one which you are saying? There's one reason within this entry why it cannot be that entry which you are talking about, where you are not able to pay. Yes, Madhu?
Due to securities premium.
due to bank account. See, there you are not getting any cash, right? You're not getting any cash. You're just converting one security to another. So bank account will not be there at all in that. Okay, so this is basically your fresh issue, which you are doing for the purpose of redemption. Now that entry which you are talking about, Shivam, it is a very straightforward entry. See the last one here. Take a conversion into any other share. So it will be just, you will debit the capital, okay, and to preference or equity, whatever capital you are converting it to, okay, you will convert it like this. This will be the entry for that. So as there is no cash involved, bank account will not be there in that entry. Okay. So now ये सारी हो गए, all these entries, this transfer of premium on redemption and payment to shareholders also we have done. First 5 entries are all over. Now in the end, what you have to do, I told you previously when we were doing buyback, okay, what I told you is, say what is your CRR account basically is, say this is your liability side of balance sheet, okay, and these are your reserves. These are your reserves. Okay. Once you redeem using reserves, okay, then you have to show that that part of reserve is no more a free reserves. For example, now I'm just overwriting it with the green part, the red part. The green part is what I'm using for redemption or buyback or whatever purpose. Now this green part is no more your free reserve. Okay. So it is representing your long-term capital. Okay. What will happen here is same equal to the green part, your shares will be redeemed. Okay. Preference share is redeemed or you have bought back, same thing both, right? But both the same thing holds good. Now the yellow part is what you have redeemed, and the green part, no, from the reserve, you are now just pushing this green part here as capital. Okay, so now this green part of reserve, it is going to be used as capital. So this green part is what is your CRR account. Why you are actually what you are doing? You are converting your revenue reserves to CRR. Why you are doing it? To show that this part is now no more a free reserve. Okay, so this is now becoming a capital reserve now from a free reserve, right? And so for all these things, for all your capital part, normally it is represented by long-term assets, right? Long-term assets of the balance sheet. So now this green part also represents long-term assets. ठीक है? तो ये हम करते हैं आपके CRR अकाउंट में. I had explained this to you with a diagram in buyback also. ठीक है? मैं फिर से आपको just थोड़ा repeat कर दिया मैंने. Okay. So that is why this is what you do for CRR account. यानी क्या रहेगा आपका? जनरल रिजर्व का आप डेबिट कर रहे हो या प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, यानी रेवेन्यू रिजर्व ही लेना है इसमें. ओके, तो इस केस में यू हैव नो ऑप्शन ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज प्रीमियम. यू कैन यूज सिक्योरिटी प्रीमियम ओनली फॉर प्रीमियम ऑन रिडेम्पशन, फॉर दैट पार्ट, नॉट फॉर द कैपिटल पार्ट. फेस वैल्यू पार्ट के लिए नहीं कर सकते. ओके, so general reserve debited, profit and loss account debited to CRR account. This is how you have converted your revenue reserve here into capital reserve here. Okay, the way I demonstrated it there. ठीक है, तो ये है, तो ये एंट्री आखिरी में, आप आखिरी में कर सकते हैं. ये इंटरनल है. आपकी सारी एंट्रीज हो गई ना, जो व्हाटएवर बायबैक एंट्री, सॉरी द redemption or buyback, whatever, all once all entries are over, last entry you can put as this. So this is just an internal thing basically, right? Anytime you can put this as the last entry. Okay, or even if you put it somewhere between this, it's not a problem actually anywhere, this entry. There's no not a date issue associated with this entry. Okay, and then फिर अगर इसके बाद इस प्रॉब्लम में, रिडेम्पशन के प्रॉब्लम में कभी कभी इश्यू ऑफ बोनस शेयर्स पूछ लेता है. So there you have to use CRR account. As we know, we can use CRR account, we can use bonus shares. Now CRR account जो है, इसमें जैसे हमने देखा एक्चुअली इसके अंदर कुछ पैसे नहीं रहते हैं, राइट? But CRR account has now become your share capital. Once it has become share capital, it is representing the long-term assets. As such, that fund doesn't have any liquid cash. ठीक है? इसलिए wherever you can use CRR account, you should use it. ठीक है? There are very less purposes for which you can use it. अब law आपको allow कर रहा है bonus shares के लिए, you can use it. So if you have CRR account, it's better to use it first for that. Okay. So right. So here now, so for issue of bonus shares, what all we used to do, there were only two entries, right? Remember what were the entries? You used to debit all reserves, debit all capital reserves issued in cash, securities premium, okay, and the CRR account and your revenue reserves. You debit from that, okay, and then you credit what? Bonus to shareholders, right? And then bonus to shareholders debited to share capital. This is how we used to give them share capital. Same thing you have to do here. That's all. Here it will be a simple thing. Just use the CRR account debited. If others is required, is like if you see bonus, you can use all those things: CRR, securities premium, capital reserves, if it is in cash, represented in cash, or the revenue reserves also you can use. Okay, but use this order: to bonus to shareholders, then bonus to shareholders debited to share capital. If you are issuing at a premium, then credit premium also. That's all. So these two are just the bonus, same entries we are repeating, which we learned in bonus issue. Okay. So these are the entries basically, and this last entry is conversion into other shares. So this one can be the case which Shivam mentioned, okay, that for redeemable preference shares and maybe some other liability, we are issuing new shares to them. Okay, so that will be this. Another thing is possible that in place of redeemable preference shares, they are ready to take equity shares long term. Now equity, if they are taking, they'll become owners, right? There'll be no question of redemption. So in that case also you can do this one. Okay, in either way. So when one form of capital is getting converted to another form, whatever be the terms and conditions, जो भी terms and conditions, so you can use this entry straight away. ठीक है, कुछ भी नहीं है इसमें. What you are doing, just whatever is the existing capital, you have to cancel it. Capital is a credit balance, so you'll debit it, gets cancelled. Just credit the new form of capital you are giving them. That's all. Okay, so these are the entries. So now we'll just do the problems. I already read this problem, so I'll quickly read it again for you. Okay, date is 31st March. Equity we don't need. Redeemable preference shares is 200 and 10% was your premium, correct? So we had to pay 220. We saw that. These three reserves are there. Okay, so for redemption part, preference shares, we don't use capital reserve. Okay, only for premium part you will use premium first and then revenue reserves. Okay, and for capital part you will only use revenue reserves. And then asset side is given, so let's not see it as of now. If we require, we'll see the asset side. The company redeemed preference shares on 1st April at premium of 10%. So what is it? It is, let us compare it. Now premium is 20% here, 20, sorry. Okay, 10%, which is 20. So 20 is your premium. Okay, and this is your capital part. Okay, face value part. It is. So now 20 is premium. You have to try and get it from your share premium, right? Securities premium. So you have enough securities premium, so not a problem. You can get it. And now for capital part, you want 200. You have 260 in the reserve. So we have enough money, right? So straight away we can go and put the entries now. Okay, so first you should just go and see whether you have all monies intact. Okay, and then start with the entries. Now these are the entries now. As we said, first entry is redeemable preference share debited, premium debited to shareholders account. 220, 220, correct? Fine. And the next entry, what you will do is just transfer this premium on redemption. Securities premium had 25, right? 25 lakhs. Securities premium debited to premium on redemption 2020. This is done. Right? Last is payment entry. Shareholders debited to bank. 220 whole money you will pay back. Okay. Then after this, at the end, you will do that CRR account. That is the which I demonstrated you, right? The revenue part is being pushed towards the capital part. It's no more revenue. It is becoming a capital reserve called CRR. Okay. So that is the entry we'll do. For that entry, you have to use the revenue reserves only. Okay. Okay. So that is revenue reserve debited to CRR account. Always it will be for the capital component. Okay. Understood? That is this problem, first one. Now see, you have got a list of capital and revenue reserves. So capital reserves are those which are not considered free. So you should be able to identify it. That's all. Okay. So securities premium, these are all not considered free. So these are capital reserves not available for dividend. Securities premium, you know, forfeited shares, you know, profit prior to incorporation. Okay, it is a capital reserve. Okay. So you might be knowing it also. Capital reserve, the name itself is capital reserve. Okay. Now development reserve, rebate reserve, something you might not have heard of. Okay. So whatever you have not heard, just pay more attention to that. There'll be many names here which you would know that these are capital reserve, these are not revenue reserve. Now development rebate reserve, this happens when for you do some long-term projects and all, and government gives you a rebate. So when government gives you a rebate on your capital, okay, that part, it works out as your capital reserve. That is called as development rebate reserve. So what you have to do is you just have to remember that it is a capital reserve. Okay, so this is the name you would not be hearing too much, isn't it? The first four you can easily identify as capital reserves. You can get some objective type of questions on this, on identifying. Now if we talk about revenue free reserves here, general reserve, now reserve fund, it is also a revenue reserve. Okay, be careful, don't get confused with the word fund. Okay, it is reserve fund is also a general reserve. Dividend equalization fund is a general reserve. Insurance fund, workman's compensation fund, you see all these funds, workman's accident fund, these are all considered as free reserve because you are posting amount of your out of your profits to all these. Okay, but basically these are all formed out of your profit and loss appropriation. Okay, so an amount from your P&L appropriation goes into this as feeder. Same for this voluntary debenture redemption account. Okay, which you are maintaining voluntarily, you're setting aside some profits for redemption. Because it is actually what is it on a particular date is collection of your revenue profits, correct? So it is called as free reserve. Okay, voluntary debenture sinking fund, same, ये दोनों का same logic है. Profit and loss account that you know anyways. These are the funds. Okay, so इसमें से जो भी आपको you do not know about which, just focus on that. Okay, so that you should know this list.
Sir, dividend equalization fund, what is that?
Dividend equalization fund, what happens is, see, normally see company pays dividend, right? So say this is year 1, year 2, okay, year 3, year 4. Okay, now every year roundabout I'm paying dividend, say of 10 lakhs. Okay, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Okay. So every year I'm paying 10 lakhs. Now, suddenly this year was not that good. Okay. I'm able to pay only 6 lakhs. Then the shareholders can get jittery, right? What is happening? Company is doing good or not. So that's why what they do is they create a fund, okay, called dividend equalization fund. And this fund is credited from your profits. Now, say instead of paying 10, 10, say they pay 8, 8, 8. So now 2, 2, 2 from here is already credited to this fund. And now in the fourth year, when they have a problem, okay, yeah, they have only 6, they'll put 2 from this fund and make it 8. This just helps them, to to give dividend, which is equal to a common base. So then, the shareholders don't get jittery. So which is why most of the major companies, they have a dividend equalization fund. It is nothing but your revenue reserve, basically. It's a collection of revenue reserve. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue, I think, the next lecture now. So you can join me back maybe in 2 minutes. We'll do only a half an hour session, okay, because more people are not there. So we just have to do 2 more problems. I was actually, after these 2 problems, I wanted to give you an introduction of underwriting. That's what I was planning to do, but let's just finish off these 2 problems in the next session, and we'll close this session for now. Okay, the next session, that is, today is Monday, right? So tomorrow we'll start underwriting. Okay, so you can join back at 7:50 now. We'll just finish in half an hour. Okay,
Okay.
same link.